Thank you for joining our webinar. The webinar will be starting soon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar introducing Miracle's Enterprise Monitoring Framework for Integration. Today our speakers will be Kunal Mittal, who is working as a practice manager for integration, and we have also one more speaker, Gurvinder Singh, who is working as an integration expert for Integration Center of Excellence team at Miracle Software Systems. Kunal will be taking forward the webinar. Kunal, it's all yours.
Thanks, Lakshmi, for the introduction. So we'll get this going. The webinar is on Miracle Enterprise Monitoring Framework, on how you monitor your events in the enterprise, how you track them down, how it notifies back to your business team, how it notifies back to the technical team, and improve the efficiency and productivity of the employees by automating some of the processes, by automating some of the tasks, by providing insights and analytics on top of these events in order to get to these faster, get to the business events faster and in a more efficient way. So with me I have Gurvinder, who is an integration expert from our Integration Center of Excellence, and we are going to do a live demo on this capability of ours, and I'll be telling you a little bit about Miracle. Let me just open up the agenda so that to get a better idea on how we're going to take this forward. So we're going to cover the Miracle story. We are going to tell you about who we are and what we do. Then kick off with an introduction to Enterprise Monitoring Framework, the architecture, how the tool was built on, the building blocks, the use cases for integration from some of our clients where we have successfully implemented this framework and they are running good with that. The platform and the technologies involved, going a little deep inside the architecture and talking about the technologies used or can be used to implement this platform. And then we are talking then Gurvinder will be taking this forward in terms of live demo, giving the demonstration of the capabilities of this framework to the audience. And then we'll have questions and answers and wrap up the webinar. We have around 2,000 plus employees globally, and most of them are certified on IBM, Oracle, Java skill sets. We have a variety of skill sets in our employee base, and integration is a place where we actually have more experts on site than offshore. So we have 20 plus years of experience in this domain, and we have our customers spread across in all the different domains which we service. Then our technology expertise, as I was talking about, we service our customers not just in integration when it comes to B2B and application hybrid cloud integration. We also do a lot of jobs, a lot of development around enterprise mobility. We also help our client move their application to the cloud. And we started with our QA practice a year back and going good with that. And we do have experience around commerce area as well. Then going on to the next slide. Okay, as I already told you, we have certified people in SAP, Microsoft, and IBM from the vendor standpoint. We have an on-site offshore global delivery model. We do provide 24/7 support to our customers back from India into their time zones. Then we do production support, we do development and the whole SDLC life cycle. We do have numerous reusable frameworks which are deployed successfully to the clients, and we do push our in-house accelerators. MEMF is part of coming from the same team, the ICE Integration Center of Excellence, where we continue to build and innovate on the new technologies and how the new technology streams which are being added in the DevOps space and in the integration space, how They are helping our customers take over the challenges around the integration arena and tackle some of the problems in a simpler way. Okay, as I told, we do service our customers in almost all the industry verticals. Our customer ranges from manufacturing, energy, banking, insurance, and retail, spread across North America. Okay, and these are some of our sourcing models. We do provide professional services, result-oriented fixed bid contracts, and we do have managed services models. So all the different flavors attached to the delivery model, we can work with you and in the way you are more flexible with and you are more comfortable with. And I'll not spend more time on this slide. Probably will skip this one. Lakshmi, can you help me move to the next slide? I'm facing some challenges here. Okay, these are some of our strategic partnerships which we have. We have partnerships with Microsoft, with Oracle and IBM. We are premium partners with IBM. We do have established partnerships with some of the open source products in the market, like MuleSoft. We do a lot of work with them recently. And in the API space, we have Epigee and CA, who we partner with and provide support to our customers. I already spoke about our proven methodologies, our decision tools, reference architecture, which we have built across a vast experience of last 20 years, and we continue to reuse and build over them and provide and add value to our customers. Okay, now we'll get into quickly get into the Miracle Enterprise Monitoring Framework and its capabilities. And let me go over a few slides with you and giving you a basic idea on what it does and how it does it. So it's a web, as the slide clearly depicts, it's a web application using the Bootstrap technology. The UI can sit on top of a web browser. You can open it on your mobile phones, on your iPads, and it can give you a 360-degree view of all the business events happening in the enterprise, right? When a message leaves the source or an upstream application and how it reaches the downstream application, whether it is successfully processed, whether it is failing, whether there's a warning, and things like that. You also have the ability to reprocess these events if the upstream application does not provide that functionality. So this is a quite comprehensive portal-based, so UI is portal-based, and it gives you enriched visibility in all the events, and it's a proven and tested framework since we have already deployed to our clients across industry domains. Let me move to the next slide, which gives you more clarity on some of the features of this particular framework. So it also gives you the ability to manage your users. So this application is not just service or meant for the technical audience. It gives the visibility to your line of businesses, to somebody like a business analyst, functional analyst, or to somebody even higher up who wants to see what's going on with the transactions or with the business events and where are we. So it has multiple level of access ranging from an admin who do support, ranging from a support analyst who has the ability to go back and check and fix the issue, and to the business analyst who just want to have a view level access to see how things are moving. Then it gives you it can also analyze and filter your data. So you can very well define SLAs. When I say SLAs, based on the business event, based on the transaction, like order. You don't want order, whenever order fails, you want that to be a SEV1 issue and it has to be fixed, because ultimately it's a customer order and you don't want to lose it. So you can attach severity to all your business events ranging from SEV1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, depending on your business, however you define your SLAs. So you can define that, keep on modifying that, keep it there in the database. The tool can analyze that when a business event fails, attaches itself to the corresponding SLA and can show you analytics around it. So how many events are failing, which events are failing, going from which application to which application, and then what is the severity of that event. in form of a pie chart, in form of a line charts, in whatever way you want the tool to show. You can customize it to your needs and present these reports on a daily, weekly, monthly, or semi-annually basis to the business owners to get a feel of how things are moving. And it also gives you a visibility into the failure events, where you are getting most of the failures. What is the challenge of fixing those failures so that I can reduce the number of recurring failures and move them into success, right? So it actually increases your efficiency, and it also provides you better operational control and visibility on all the transactions which are happening. And it can also reprocess some of the failed events. So say there's some event which has failed because the destination system is down for maintenance, right? And whether it is over web service or probably MQ or probably file, FTP server is down, destination MQ is down, destination application being at SAP or Oracle is going over a maintenance, right? So what you can do is your message in the middleware layer will fail, whether it is a transformation layer or it's a transport layer, it has to fail. And when it fails, whenever the destination system comes up, it will send a trigger to or an alert to your support analyst that something has failed because the destination system is down. And whenever the destination system comes up, the support analyst can select what all events he needs to reprocess through using this UI portal, and he can reprocess those events in that timely fashion. So it gives you pretty much the flexibility to add your own flavor to the UX or the user experience. It easily integrates with your flows. Okay, so when I say you might be having existing IIB flows, you might be using some other technology like cast iron, you might be using data power, or or you might be using IBM API management or IBM API Connect. So it attaches itself very easily to the existing flows, right? In the slide it says IIB flows, but it is spread across the IBM integration suite. We are expanding it to the other transformation engines or ESBs as well, but at this point of time with this version, it attaches itself very easily to the IBM integration flows or IBM integration product suite, wherein it has the ability to send the events, logs the messages, and we have our own custom built node, which we call it as error handling and notification node, which can be sitting on the palette in your Eclipse toolkit, and you can just drag and drop and attach your failure terminals to this particular node, and it can very well take it from there. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, so this is the architecture of the product or the framework. So as I was saying, that it attaches itself to the IBM product suite as far as this version goes. What products are we talking about when we say IBM product suite? We're talking about IBM Integration Bus. We're talking about Data Power, Message Queue, WTX, NQ FTE, and IBM VPM. It also includes cast iron. It's not depicted here because the cast iron was going through some changes. And from the backend side, we have the events being injected into a database. So we are using open source MySQL database for the support, but the clients can very well use Oracle. Probably if they are more comfortable with Oracle, DB2, or SQL Server. So it's up to the clients and up to their landscape, which underlying database they are more flexible with or comfortable with. Then IIB also comes with MQTT. So we are removing our dependency on MQ as the transport protocol, and we are putting things on MQTT just to make it transport independent in terms of an MQ layer. Right now, it runs on IIB runtime. The future versions of this product will be hosted on Java Spring framework, or it will be hosted on Mule Community Edition. That is something which we will decide as we go as far as the product roadmap goes. on the US side, as I was saying, the US experience is very solid, sitting on Bootstrap technology. You can create your own dashboards, and you can do your own analytics around SLAs and monitoring of business events. Then it has a runtime performance manager, and it can analyze your business events. So we'll move to the next one. Okay, so this is one of the use cases, or one of the case studies which we implemented on one of our clients, who is a privately held retailer. He's a big retailer having 293 stores in 16 states in North America, where we implemented this particular product or a framework across IBM integration suite, and the technology stack include IIB, WSRR, Data Power, MQ, FTE, and it gave them the visibility into their business events, and it increased the operational efficiency. We were able to integrate with their ticketing system and send alerts to the users, business users, and technical team via emails, and which helped them resolve those failures, business failures or business event failures pretty quickly. I move to the next slide, and so as I was saying, it gave them enhanced visibility, the point which I touched upon earlier in my session, and it gave them centralized search repository. Yeah, this is another aspect which I did not focus in my presentation earlier, that it also gives them a search-based visibility into the business events. Say like you have an order ID, and you want to see whether that order ID was fired from the source application and where it is. You want to know and you want to track down that order ID in the enterprise. So this will help you. This tool will also help you track your business transactions from source to destination, which is a very important feature these days when we have to do message tracking in the enterprise. Okay, and now we'll talk about the platform and the technologies which are used to build this framework, how it is built, and where we use what. So from the technology side, we used database. It has the flexibility of integrating either with SQL Server, Oracle, DB2, or MySQL. Your choice. Operating system we used can sit on Unix or Windows, and we used struts and Hibernate frameworks from J2EE perspective. Web server we used Apache, and from the integration side, right now we are using IIB runtime, but it can probably sit on any Spring framework. We are trying to make it sit on even Mule Community Edition to make it more open source, and where you don't need extra licenses to host. And yeah, I think these are some of the things which will give you an idea on what and how we built it. So from an event notification, I was talking about events. So what an event holds. So event will hold its ID, application name, where which application to which it was going actually happened to have a failure on. The component type, whether it is message broker or data power or something else in your landscape. Severity, it is classified under say trace, error, warning, and then you have the category, what kind of a protocol you were using when that failure happened, whether it was an HTTP, JMS, you're using JDBC or FTP or something else. The category, whether it happened in the code, which code category, and the description of will carry where and why the failure happened, and the system information. If you're having multiple execution groups and you're having multiple brokers and active or active passive, so it will give you that information of broker name, execution group name, and things like that, which help you service that particular event at a faster pace. We move to the next slide. So it also, the payload has, we also have, whenever an event is sent, the event is sent with a payload attached to it. So like you're getting an order failed in middleware due to some of the reason might be there is a data which is invalid, or any other reason, a business rule was invalid and it failed in the middleware layer. So you will send an alert back to the support analyst with the payload information on the email attaching the payload onto the email. So what will it have? It will have a tracking ID which we will uniquely assign. Each and every event will have a tracking ID associated with an event, so that it will help you search that event later in the MEMF UI. It will have a payload body, the message body, so that it will help you easily find where the issue is. If there's something wrong with the message, some mandatory information is not part of the message, you can easily call it up and associate that to a ticket and send to your upstream application saying this is the issue. You don't have to actually extract the message from message broker to do that, or from any other tool which you're using. So this is how we do events and payload information. And then I will like to give the control back to my colleague Gurvinder Singh, who is going to take you to the live demonstration and say how these features are working in the actual production usage. Thank you, and over to you, Gurvinder.
I'm Gurvinder from ICE team. So now I'm going to give you the live demo on MEMF portal, showcasing work. So this is how the login screen will look like. So here I'm going to enter my credentials to enter into the portal. So I've just entered as an admin. So the first screen that you will see of this portal is the dashboard. So this dashboard will show you the live events, means the real-time information in the form of pie charts and graph. So here you can see the first pie chart. So this pie chart shows you the information like events that are based on the application. So if I move my cursor over here, so here you can see we have all the different applications represented by the different colors. Okay, so here you can see this is my AWD application. So it shows me how many events like occurred on this application, and it also shows what is the percentage of that events that has occurred on that particular on that particular application. So down you can see all the number of applications like differentiated by the different colors. So here you can see each and every applications and the number of events. So on the right hand side here we can see a pie chart. So this will show us the events that are based on the severity, like how many info events have occurred and how many error events that are occurred. Okay, it will show you the count and also the warning messages. So like if you want to see the events information between a particular timestamp, then you can select the date from here, like from which date you want to see the events of an application. You can select and you can click on generate, so it will show you the events from that particular timestamp. So below down you can see the events per day. So what this will show is how many events have occurred on that one particular day. So if I move my mouse cursor to it, here you can see the date along with the number of events that had occurred on that particular day. So if you want to see that on one particular day, you can select the date range and then you can see it here, all the events. So this was about the dashboard. So now I will tell you how we can configure our applications with this framework. So once I click on component types, So here I can add the component type. Component type is nothing but the technology that we are using. It can be IIB, data power, MQFT, anything. So if you want to add any technology, you just need to write here or click on search. Means if you want to search for an existing technology, if it is there, then we can use it, or if you want to add a new technology, then I have to write and I have to click on add. Once I click on add, then I can give my new component technology name. Okay, click on it. So here you can see component type successfully added. So this is how you can add any component or any technology into this framework. So once we have added any component technology, then what we need to do is we need to add applications. So in this applications, you can either search for the existing applications, and if you want to add new applications, then you have the option for adding. It's loading. Yeah, here. So if you want to modify the existing applications, then you need to write the name of that application and need to click on search. Down you can see the list of available applications that are already configured with this framework. So if you want to add any application, we need to click on add. Okay, we need to give the application name. So I just created a sample app 2. Once the application is added, we need to give the component name. Component name is nothing but the flow, message flow. It will be running under that application. Okay, then I can select the component type, means under which component I want to add that component name. So I will select IIB. Okay, then we have an option of retention period. Retention period means like up to what time the events will be stored onto the master database, master table, sorry. So after 45 days, the scheduler will automatically, it will take all the event information from the master table to a backup table. So we can specify the number of days after which duration you want to move that data from the application table to a backup table. So I have mentioned here 45 days. Okay. So we have another functionality, that is the replay capable. Means if you want to make this component name as a replay capable. So if in case of any failure message, we can reprocess the message again back to the starting of that flow. So if I make this flow as a replay capable, so if any failure message will come, it will automatically, the message, it will go to that, it will be replaced to the starting queue. So this is how we can add that application. So once that component and applications are added, then I will show you the another functional, that is the event search. Actually, this framework provides us a couple of ways through which we can search the events. It's loading. It's taking some time to load. Yep. So now you can see the event search page. So here we can see we have the couple of options to search the events. based upon the application name, component type and component name, and also the severity. So in the severity you can see, like if you want to see only the debug messages, we can click on debug and we can search. Like if I want to see a particular events of a particular application, like CAS application, I'll search message broker. Okay, I'll select them. So here I can select like what type of events I want to see of that particular application. Like I want to see debug events, error, fatal, info, or trace. So if I want to see error, simply I will click on search. So now I can see all the error messages that has occurred on that application. So if I want to see the information, I need to click on this event ID. So here you can see the event ID, component name, the created date, severity, and the correlation ID. So I will click on this event ID to see the more detailed information of this event. So now you can see the detailed information of this event. We can see the application name, component type, component name, severity, the correlation ID, the tracking ID, the event ID, the timestamp, and the category of the exception, the code, the error code, and the instance name. And also with that we can see the description of that error, and along with that the system information from where. So in the system information we can see the node from which that error has been occurred, the message flow name, okay, the execution group name, the broker name, everything we can see in the system information. And also we can see the header information. You can see it right here. All the header information has been populated over here, and along with the body of that message. So in case we want to replay this failure message again, so just we need to click on replay. It will go to the starting of that flow. This message will be reprocessed. So how we are going to do that, I will show you. So we need to click on replay config. So here I will show you how we need to configure the component names with the replay capability. So here in the replay config, I will show you how we will configure a new message flow. So I need to click on add. So here I need to select first the application, then the component type, and then the component name, means the message flow name, and then the payload type, that is my enqueue. And then I need to enter my the details of my queue manager, means the host name, port number, channel name, the queue manager name, and the queue name. And then I need to click on submit. Once these all configurations are done, then my flow is has the ability of replay. So any error occurred on that flow, has the ability to be replayed or reprocessed. So this is how we are going to do that replay configuration. After that, I'll show you how we can configure the email notifications, like how we can attach the error information, or any like if necessary, if you want, then you can access also event information if you want to send, how we can configure that. So in that notification we need to click on configure. So now you can see here for that configuration of email notification, I need to select the application name, the component type, and the component name. Okay, then here we can see the logging. Logging means what it will do is it will log the payload. It is giving us an option to send that payload, audit, and additional audit. Additional audit is nothing but we can do the auditing at the starting of the flow or in the middle of the flow, and also at the end of the flow. So if that that comes under the additional audit. So if you want that information to be stored in a file. Then here we can select that option, like if you want to store that payload information to any file, it will store. And similarly with the audit and additional audit. So why we are doing that? Because when we are sending the email, we have the option, either we can send just the error information to the recipient, or if you want to send the attachment, means all the error details, if you want to send that all the attachment to that recipient, then it will pick that from this file system through where we have logged using Log4j. So it will pick that file from that file system and it will attach to the email and it will go to the recipients of that email. So these were, here we can configure all the recipients. Here you can see the recipient for the error, means to whom that error info will go. So here we have configured a couple of names like in 2, CC and BCC. Along with that, if a user is not registered here, if we want to add an external recipient for that error to whom we want to send the mail, we can add it here. We can add that email here and it will go to that particular recipient also. Similarly, this is configuration is for the audit, means for the success message. If you want to send the audit information to particular group or a particular person, then here we can configure them into CC, BCC, and also here we have the option for that external recipient for the audit purpose. So this is how we are going to configure that email notification. So coming to the next one. So this framework also provides you the functionality of purging the event details from the master table. So here we have an option of purge. So here we will specify the number of days, like suppose like I told earlier, like after 45 days, like what we have in the retention period, we can mention the number of days. Either it can be, you can mention 45 or 90, whatever you like. Okay, it will be like automatically it will be happening. So if manually if we want to remove that events from the master table to a backup table, here we can do that. We will mention the number of days, like suppose from last 15 days, I want to remove all the event information from my master table to the backup table. I will mention it here. Then I will select the application name and the component name, so like of which all the events, like for that particular application I want to remove all that information. So I'll click on purge. So it will remove all that event information. This is just for the performance, just for increasing the performance of the application. So we have this. Next, we have the users and roles. So I'll click on users. Here you can add the new users. Okay. So here you see you have two options in the user search. Either you can search for an existing user or you can add. If you want to know that a particular user is already existing or not, then you can search with the user ID and the username. And if you want to add a new user, you can simply click on add. And here you need to enter the following details like user ID, first name, last name, phone number and email ID. Once you have provided this information, you need to click on add, so that particular user will be added to this. Down, if I go back, here you can see the already the list of existing users which are there. So now another thing is we have users. Now we can provide them with different roles. So we have an option of roles. Like right now we have these particular only roles like admin and user. So admin will have all the privileges, means he is able to see all the event information in detail and it has the capability to replay the messages, whereas the user will not have all the privileges. So we can here configure like which users will have all the privileges and which users will have all the privileges. So if I click on edit, here you can see for a particular user, I will role, like for admin role, what are the applications, and we have the option to restrict the view. Like I can select a particular application and then I can restrict that view to that particular role. So here, this is how we can do. So will I go back, I will go to the user. As I said, admin will have all the privileges. See, like for user, I want to restrict the view of this cars application to that particular user. So I will just click on here and I will click on apply. So what it will do is some of the functionalities like the header information, the payload information. So these kind of information that user will not be able to see. And similarly here, if you want to remove some user, we can remove, simply we can remove from here and we can apply. So this is how we can give roles to a particular user, and we can restrict the view, or we can restrict the privileges for the particular users. So now the last one is the profile. It's simply like if you want to edit your profile for this, you can enter your here you can see the details, and if you want to change your photo, you can update from here, or if you want to remove, you can remove from here. If you want to change the password, here you can mention it, and you can give your new password and we can update it. So this was all about that the UI portal that we have of the MEF. So now I'll give back to Kunal.
Hey, thanks, Gurvinder, for the nice demo. I'll open it up for the audience now. If they have any questions, anything which they are interested to ask in relation to MEMF, they are free to ask questions on that.
Thank you, Kunal and Gurvinder. If you do have any questions, please do raise your hand to ask questions, or you can put your questions in the chat box too. Kunal and Gurvinder, we got one question from Steve. He is asking, does the framework have the capability to replay all failure messages?
Yeah, the framework is having the capability as long as you have configured that particular component type for the events to be replayed. It will provide you the capability or an option to replay those events. So whether it is based out of MQ or HTTP or FTP, it will probably be able to replay those events back to the source transport layer.
Thank you, Kunal. Here we are having 2 more upcoming webinars. This will be held in this month. One is best practices for API design and overview of Apigee 127. This will be held on July 26, 2016. And we have one more webinar, Enterprise Big Data versus Smart Data. This will be held on July 27th. And you can check out more webinars at www.miraclesoft.com/webinar, and you can register too. Coming to digital transformation and Miracle, we do provide health check workshops, digital transformation workshops, and our innovation labs in Center of Excellence pilot services can help you to build a roadmap for your next generation digital transformation initiatives. Thank you once again. To learn more, visit www.miraclesoft.com, and you can tweet us at team_MSS, and you can watch our videos at youtube.com/miracle45625, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/miracle45625. Thank you once again and have a great day.